The show will be on in the back gallery at the WKP Kennedy Gallery from May 24th to July 20th. And we're open Tuesdays to Saturdays, 12 to 4. And we've also opened the gallery doors before the Capitol Center Betty Spears theater show times. So in the evenings before you catch one of the shows, you can pop into the gallery and check out the exhibits on view.
You know, thinking back about it, like when did I start to work in this manner? And really, probably when I started working digitally, because I can go and turn a computer on and start to sketch. I mean, I guess I could do it painting, like if I did oil paintings or, you know, keep working on one each step. But it's just so easy to, if I've got an hour or 2 hours, to sit down and continue something and then save it and then go back the next day or finish it. It just leaves the door open to continue that process.
Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Fortin presents almost episode 50. 49, close to being number 50. Thank you for joining in on the conversation. Today, I'm nervous. I'm nervous because the man sitting across from me right here, he's a little tease, and I'm nervous about what he's going to tease me about today. No, his name is Michael Couchie. He is a fantastic artist and friend, and I'm really happy to have him here on the show today to talk about an event coming up at the end of the month with Jennifer, who is at the Kennedy Gallery and doing many other things. So we get to catch up.
Absolutely.
We've done this once before.
We have, and here we are again.
2 years ago. Yeah.
It's true. Wow.
I made it to almost 50.
It's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I always love sitting here with you.
And Mike, how are you feeling today?
Good.
Okay. I'm getting more nervous. The more quiet Mike gets, the more nervous I get. Mike, you've been making art, what, your whole life? Or did it start later in life?
Yeah, it started when I was about 20.
You started practicing an art practice at 20. You went to Canada and you were studying...
Graphic arts.
Graphic arts. At that time, it wasn't so much digital art that you're working in.
Oh, no, there was no digital then.
There was no digital?
No, God, no.
What year was it?
74.
Okay. So what was the form? What was your practice like from that long ago?
That was the starting of it. Because I didn't take art in high school.
Yeah.
I didn't take any.
Yeah.
So. And I'd known a photographer up there, Mike Demori.
Yeah.
Through a cousin who was taking the course. So that's how I knew about the program. And had met Mike and was interested in what, say, my cousin was doing, and then what he showed me what they were doing in the program. Mm-hmm. So I knew something about it, but not, totally. But it interests me, so.
And visual art always?
When you say visual art, isn't most of it visual?
Well, music.
Oh, music, okay. No, yeah, mostly visual.
Mostly visual.
Yeah. So.
That's cool. Jen, you're at the Kennedy Gallery. How many years has it been now that you've got the reins there?
We're creeping up to 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it'll be working with Michael Couchie and his exhibit. It'll be the anniversary of 2 years of working as the curator at the gallery. So yeah, time flies when you're having fun and get to work with creative people.
So tell me about how you found out about Mike's work and what interested you to kind of pull this together, because you really did initiate a conversation about this show a while ago. Yeah,
so we've been in conversation for a while. Trying to think back to how this all got started. Tuning into your podcast, first of all, really introduced me to a lot of new creatives in the city. I moved back. I'm originally from North Bay, but moved back to North Bay March 2020. The world had shut down. I didn't know who was still here, who was doing what businesses were open. So once the world started opening up and I took on the job at the Kennedy Gallery, I took it on as a challenge to figure out who's doing what, meet as many creatives as people, reach out for coffees and just initiate those conversations. And we had connected that way. And I had listened to an interview the two of you had actually done. That would have been 2.5, 3 years ago, probably. And being in this building, 176 Lakeshore, the art on the walls, gorgeous. And Michael's work caught my eye. And I didn't know who had created these striking pieces. Needed to know more, did a bit of digging. And that's when I stumbled upon your interview and reached out. We had a couple opportunities in collaboration with the Indigenous Friendship Center. And I think initially I had reached out to see if you wanted to participate in the group show. And then when I realized how strong your work truly was and how much volume you had created, I realized there was something there for
to
a
catalyze
solo exhibition. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So now this show that you're going to be, that's happening on the opening is on the 24th.
Yes, May 24th.
At 6 p.m. There's going to be a lot of new work. It's all new work.
Yep.
This is not work people have seen much yet, have they?
Just the one piece that's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, all the rest are
brand new work.
Yeah.
How do you make, what is your practice look like these days? Like in terms of, are you, I mean, you didn't do this show out of, you didn't make the art specifically for the show. You are always practicing making things, right? You like the creative process is just something you do.
Yep. Part of my day.
And then you had to narrow down. How many pieces do you think you had over the last couple of years produced, or drafts at least?
Probably 200-300.
So out of 200-300, how did you narrow it down?
I got other people to do that.
You got help.
Yes. Well, obviously. I mean, I asked you and I asked Jennifer to pick 5 pieces each.
Yeah.
Because I found for myself to pick them, like, that I just see so much of it that I didn't know where to start in some ways, you know.
Yeah.
And I just felt it was easier for me,
Yeah.
like to let other people do that.
Because you're close to it, like you're spending time with these images you're creating, and to you then once it's done for that day, you put it in a folder and then just come back to it later.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Jen, how did you pick?
It was challenging.
It was
really hard because they're all so strong in different ways. So I think first you have to just peruse and see what Michael has given us the privilege to look through.
Yeah.
And then from a curatorial standpoint, figure out how do we want to display the show? What is the purpose of the show? What is the story we're trying to tell? And how are we going to highlight Michael Couchie in the best light possible?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a part of his daily practice, which is so special. And what I really admire as he'd still be practicing regardless of having this show or not. I think this is something you truly have to do, and you have that creative curiosity, which I think really is like the purest form of being an artist.
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering how it started.
Yeah.
Because what does compel one to commit to the creative process, to do it and over, regardless of who's watching or if it's going to be exposed or not, and what it is inside us that makes us want to share, whether it's through a visual or through sound or any other art form, you know? And if that was always there, that desire to produce something, and it sounds like it was, although you started after your teens.
That is, thinking back about it, like in a sense, like when did I start to work in this manner? And really, probably when I start working digitally, because you really, or I can go and turn the computer on and start to sketch. And I mean, I guess I could do it painting, like if I did oil paintings or, you know, keep working on one each step. But it's just so easy to, if I've got an hour or 2 hours to sit down and continue something and then save it and then go back the next day or finish it and then do a number of those. And then it just leaves the door open to being able to continue that process of creating. So,
did you have any models for doing that kind of thing, or is it something that you sort of innately do?
Like I've talked about this before, the process that I was taught, and again, it was an instructor at Canadore years ago, Brian Maycock, like to be able to take an idea and look at how to like stretch that out. What can we do with this image or this idea, and how many ways can you make it maybe? And that to me has been always sort of a driving force, like just to always constantly evolve it, I guess. And it has to be interesting to me, first of all, like the design, color, and you know, that has to be of interest to me, and that's where I go with it.
Yeah, it's you're making it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jen, when you work with all these different artists from around here, is there anything that you notice is consistent, or is it, does everybody really have a different approach, and you get to kind of see, you know, the full spectrum of sort of types of practices that people from around here are doing, or because you're actively engaged with the community that's producing?
There's definitely like a common thread. That passion's there for whatever medium an artist is working in. But every artist is at a different stage of their career and has a different reason for wanting a solo exhibition. Some are truly looking for exposure. Some are looking to fulfill a concept and spread a message. Others, like Michael, I think it took a bit of convincing because you really wanted to make sure that there was a reason for having the show, because you have had many shows before. And the fact that we're able to celebrate essentially 5 decades of your art practice, I think is pretty special. But there's always this little spark that I notice in those true artists. And what I notice in you, like I said, you'd be doing this regardless of a show or not, but there's that curiosity. And then there's just that strong fundamental of art, design, color that I think you had acquired in those earlier stages of your career, not having digital within reach, and then taking that strong foundation into the digital world without losing the traditional aesthetic. So what I really love about your work is that blend between the two. Sure, you're using digital tools, but you haven't lost your hand. And truly what you're trying to, like, you haven't lost your DNA in the work. It's very consistent.
It's so interesting you say that, because I went to an art fair in Toronto where there was like 1,000 exhibitors of people doing, you know, painting and showing their things, and everybody's got their booth. And there was nothing like what Mike does. That's the thing that strikes me about the work that's so interesting and, you know, truly creative.
Yeah.
I've never really seen anything else like it.
Neither have I. And I think there's so many layers to the pieces. They're beautiful to look at initially, but I think there is something that truly draws you in. The longer you stare at them, the more you can find
you can
something.
Get lost in them for sure.
You sure
They're
can.
so detailed.
And spend time with them. And I think that's what's going to be so special with this exhibition. I think this show is going to really hold people in the gallery space for quite some time, because there's just so much to dissect and appreciate.
So how long will the show be up? Give us the details about this in your space?
The show will be on in the back gallery at the WKP Kennedy Gallery from May 24th to July 20th. So we're
So there's a
fortunate
lot
to
of time
have,
for people to come.
yes, nice stretch of time. We're open Tuesdays to Saturdays,
Yeah.
12 to 4. And we've also opened the gallery doors before the Capitol Center Betty Spears theater show times. So in the evenings before you catch one of the shows, you can pop into the gallery and check out the exhibits on view. So we're hoping lots of eyes will land on Michael's work.
For sure. There's the pieces that are printed out. There's also going to be pieces, because there's so much work, that we're going to be projecting
Exactly.
into the room, and we're going to be having some fun experimenting with a little bit of projection so people could see the extent of the other works that aren't printed. Also, something that I think is important to mention is that we got together with a young guitarist, and we were working at creating a bit of a sonic landscape to go with the pieces, the show. So Mike, tell me a little bit about how you ended up connected with Aaron, who's a guitarist who's came into the studio here and did a bit of recording, and we're gonna cut some of that with some of the music and other influences, musical influences. What's the story with Aaron?
Actually, I met him in prison. No, we both worked in the prison, and he does programs with inmates in there. I was working with the Aboriginal men in the prison.
Yeah.
But I found out he played guitar, and he's quite good. And I approached him about working on this with the show, and he was receptive to that. And like you said, you recorded him, his impressions of the work, and so I'd be interested to see how it's going to go together, because I really don't know how that's going to be when
it's still a mystery.
Anyways, yeah.
Upon recording this interview,
but yeah, he's very
blues influence.
Yeah,
amazing.
very young, very young too, and really into, like, I'm always struck by very early blues, and like Robert Johnson, that kind of artist, and how a person that young would be attracted to that sound, but he is.
And quite a virtuoso, quite a, like, I mean, this is groovy stuff, like, not easy, technical. And we closed the door and he just started playing and didn't stop for like 10, 15 minutes, 3 times.
Yeah.
And just played, just found melodies and kept riffing and closed his eyes and off he went. It was really, really quite a cool experience. So it'll be neat to see how the blend of that sonic, influence with the lights, with the piece of work will come together. So it's definitely something not to miss for people in North Bay on Friday the 24th, 6 p.m., 6 to 9. It's going to be a bit of an event there. Mike, are you going to get up and speak? I know you love public speaking. And taking videos and being recorded. Yeah,
I will.
Good answer. That's good. Perfect. Is there anything else we missed that we should capture in the interview to make sure people know about?
I think it's just going to be a really special event. And
there's another, what's at the front of the gallery for?
It's going to be the Monochrome Group Show. So it's a square foot show.
Yes.
Where the gallery has handed out 12 by 12 canvases to artists on a first come first basis.
Okay.
And each artist signed up for a color, and we're going to display the work in a monochromatic gradation throughout the front. So it's going to complement your work beautifully, because the gallery is just going to be a blast of color. And yeah, it's always nice to have a group show and then a solo show, and then those networks merge. So eyes can land on both galleries, whether they come in for one or the other. It's going to be really exciting.
It's going to be fun. And then the summer, it's after Mike's show, does it slow down and then it picks up again, or does
we're going right through. Yeah, the next one we have the North Bay Indigenous Friendship Center is going to have a show. And then Fran Hanover, an artist who won our Clash of the Canvas last year, The reward was
show.
a solo show, so she will have a showing in the front gallery. Yeah.
Very cool. Very
Yes,
cool. Well,
you're
thanks for
keeping
coming
good.
in and spreading the word.
Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
And Michael, always a pleasure. My stress level is slowly going down. You were very kind. I appreciate that very much. My mom, if she sees that, will be happy that I didn't mess
Well,
up.
I have to appear professional sometimes.
Really appreciate you doing this, and thanks for sharing your work. I look forward to seeing the show.
Well,
And yeah,
thanks for taking an interest.
my pleasure. All right,
Thanks for
ladies
sure.
and gentlemen, please subscribe, enjoy, share with your friends. Come see Mike's show, and just say hi to Jen because like she's having so much fun over there at the Kennedy Gallery. Drop in. It really is amazing. The energy in there is great. Adam, thanks for everything. Always, you're the man. Talk soon. Bye for now.